Yo, what's going on, guys? Daily here, and today I've got some pretty exciting Star Wars news that's come out. Lately, Star Wars gaming has been decent. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's definitely been a fairly solid experience for me at the very least, and I think probably for a lot of other people. Star Wars Jedi Survivor is great, though it does have its flaws, especially when it comes to performance. Then we've got ourselves Star Wars Fortnite, which I think is pretty cool. I haven't played it, but just from the looks of things, like, it looks pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. However, lots of people are kind of bummed that Star Wars is doing Fortnite stuff instead of like its own standalone game, and I completely agree with that. I'm kind of peeved about that as well, because it's like, come on, man, you can commit to doing this Fortnite thing, but you can't commit to making your own Star Wars game that's, live service and stuff like that. Clearly, it's going to be profitable, but whatever. I have an entire video on that. However, we do have some very exciting news when it comes to the Star Wars RTS game genre. So, Respawn, that we know about, has an FPS Star Wars game that's supposedly going to be coming out at some point here. Not totally sure when. I'm very excited about that. And they've also got an RTS game in the works. And we know that they have an RTS game in the works because they announced it. We don't know what it is, what's it going to be about, anything like that. I'm hoping it's going to be something similar to Men of War, like really being able to get nitty gritty with it and also make your own battles and stuff like that. I kind of doubt that's what it's going to be. If Star Wars is making an RTS game, they tend to go for a more generally known genre or game style of RTS. So I'm expecting something more like Company of Heroes, which has a much easier learning curve and things like that. So that's probably what we'll end up getting from them. However, Andy Robinson, an insider for Star Wars, has come out and said that there is a big game coming. A big RTS game for Star Wars. And no, it is not going to be by Respawn. That means that we have 2 RTS games coming, and this new game is supposedly going to be announced very soon, according to him. We'll see if that's the case, because you never know. It could be another year or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what very soon means, but it could be very, very soon, maybe like a couple months. That's the closest I would dare to hope for. But this big game coming out is going to be like Empire at War, which is extremely exciting for me because Empire at War is fantastic. You have amazing space battles, and then you get to go nitty gritty into planetary invasions and planetary battles as well. And if it's anything like the first Empire at War, I am all here for it, dude. I am so stoked about this. I'm really hoping it's not sequel trilogy, because I just personally don't really care that much about the sequel trilogy. It'd be very cool if it spanned all 3 eras, but I kind of highly doubt that's going to happen. What's honestly probably going to happen is it will end up being the original trilogy, because I'm pretty sure that's most profitable for companies. Just kind of sucks that that's the way it is right now. It's either going to be that or it'll span multiple eras, but I think it probably is just going to be original trilogy, to be completely honest with you. But of course, that's all just speculation. Either way, we know that this is not Respawn working on this game. So the only other company that I could think would make a game like this might be Petroglyph, which is the company that made the original Star Wars Empire at War. And I just don't know if it is going to be them, because Petroglyph, they just released a full-fledged game, The Great War Western Front, which is extremely fun, by the way. Highly recommend you go check it out. I play it on my other channel, Daily Productions, sometimes. It's a fantastic game. It is super, super fun. And it came out May 2023, and this is a smaller studio. This developer is, like, not exactly making massive games right now. They tend to release, like, well, let's see here. I've got it open here. Yeah, they tend to release like once every year or so, once every 2 years or so, like a major game. So I kind of doubt that they're coming out with the Great War Western Front, which is like this massive game that they just produced, and then coming out with a licensed Star Wars game right after. I just don't see that happening. You know, it just seems like a little bit far-fetched. So I don't think that they're going to be the ones making this game. It'd be awesome if they were because they have great experience with all sorts of RTS genres, and what they did with the Great War Western Front was amazing. But I just don't think it's going to be them. I also don't think it's going to be EA. I think EA, after Squadrons, has just basically decided, like, we're not going to do any more niche games because they just don't do super well. They don't perform super well. They don't get a lot of money, anything like that. I think they're probably going to stick to single player experiences like Star Wars Jedi Survivor, or maybe larger multiplayer experiences. So I really am curious as to who is going to be actually making this Star Wars game. It's got me super friggin' hyped for it, but I don't know. It could be the ones who made Company of Heroes. Is that Relic? Let me see real quick. I think it's Relic who makes Company of Heroes. Yeah, Relic Entertainment, and they're owned by Sega. I could see it being from Relic. That would make sense. Although they did just release Company of Heroes 3 in February. That, again, that's a lot for a smaller studio, which most RTS studios are smaller. So, like, if we were to be looking for a studio that's going to be releasing something, I would assume it's probably going to be a smaller studio that hasn't released anything in a couple of years. I don't think it'll be like a massive studio or anything like that because they tend to not focus so much on RTS games. They'll publish RTS games for smaller studios within them, but not so much just by themselves. So I don't know. Either way, it is extremely exciting news. I think ideally for me, what I would really want is a Clone Wars era game that, again, would just be like the icing on the cake for this. I would be so stoked about that. I don't think it's going to happen, sadly. It just doesn't seem to be in the cards to really be getting much Clone Wars era stuff in terms of gaming lately. I understand it's a little bit more niche of an audience than the original trilogy, but again, I highly, highly doubt that it ends up being the sequel trilogy because that has virtually no audience to actually play it dedicated. Best case scenario is it's all three and we get all of them. I would also really hate if this RTS game ended up being like a stupid kiddie mobile game or something like that. Like that Star Wars, what's it called? Bounty Hunters or something? Star Wars Hunters, maybe? I can't remember, but that was just like a mobile turn-based game, and I ended up getting really disappointed by that because a lot of YouTubers at the time made it sound like it was going to be this big AAA game, and then it was a mobile game, and I was like, oh, that sucks. So I'm hoping it's not going to be like that, but it sounds like it is a full-fledged big game similar to EAW. So that got me really, really hyped. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to click that subscribe button for more content and hit the notification bell if you'd like to be alerted to whenever I live stream or upload. Thanks so much.